That is right. Game 3 is here. A quick recap of 1 and 2. Clix and Vino. That's it. They win. They shut it down. And they do it in spectacular fashion. My, oh my, are we off to such a fun start here for the Major 3. It, you know, really, really does highlight the fact that these battles in the early game and just the roster right now is so exciting in its own. And talk about fun fights. Team Power versus Cease and Jack. Cease and Jack, this is a 1-to-1. Cease and Jack winning game 2's early battle against this team here, but Alex and Worthy taking game number 1 and making the best out of it.
All Cease has currently, though, that Harmier SMG found a few nitro splashes, though, and that's going to be enough to close the gap. Gatekeeper up against SMG, and it's going to be a W for Cease. Jack on the other side of things, confirming the other elimination there. Alex and Worthy, Oceania has been confirmed, knocked out of this lobby. Current score count 2-1, leading in favor of Jack and Cease.
I love how Cease's immediate response to the continued sign, you know, just the words on it. Anywhere but here. Zooks and Bacon in the battle. Vino and Clix finally getting what we thought they were gonna be met with this entire server or lobby day. And that is a contested fight here for the Sandy Steps. Roxanne putting pressure in from behind. It's not looking good right now for Vino and Clix at all.
At the same time, I think the primary issue currently is that all Veno has to offer is a couple of Thunderburst SMGs. Granted, one of them is a purple, but Roxanne, he's got a shotgun, which I believe he does. Could pose a serious threat here. Veno and Clix, they're just trying to be smart. They're aggressing at the same exact time. That's the easiest way to seal the deal here. Veno and Clix continue to hold it down here at Sandy Steps, and while that might have been a temporary setback, it's not going to intervene too heavily here. We will get a chance to review what actually happened for that first elimination. And Veno, that aim, that precision is exactly what you can expect him to deliver on every single time.
Well played as they wrap up the 2. And well, you know, Roxanne and them were second guessing, landing on Veno and Clix. Now they know why.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Now they know why. They know exactly what is in store for them. So good on Clix and Vino there. It's not like they really had a problem with Surge, but that's just going to sweeten the deal for them that much more for this game here, setting themselves up for success. Batman, Bugha, and Rapid maintaining this top 5 position right here, flying under our radars, but Kelly said it best. They have continued to perform well and be outliers amongst this NA roster.
Just a team that likes to play for positioning more than anything else, placement heavy kind of scorecard, but hanging out by the underworld. Do think it's important to highlight the fact that Day and Redux going to be one of the teams that also drops at that POI, and Redux very openly stated on socials, hey, we are keying at Underworld, and we saw them in an endgame where lobby number 2, lobby 1 didn't necessarily pan out in their favor, but it's obvious that the sentiment is there. They are looking to try and be as aggressive as possible early on. So it could be a fight that Batman, Bugha, and Rapid won't have any other choice but to conflict with.
Let's watch these highlights right here. DeRoller, Crackley getting active here at the Brawlers. Looking very good for them, and now moving right back to their home drop, the red line rig. See, all this desert biome is going to yield out this cactus here to allow them to keep their inventory looking stacked and max out their shields for the mid game. Acorn and Cold on the move right now. This could be a fun fight up against the likes of Yamzo and Tayson. Shots coming in. Tayson has no idea. Cold's right behind him, and Cold and Miro, again, with Nitro on hand, is always going to be scary. I'm just going to start looking to these controller players that are in peak kind of form to be the highlight, you know, players to look out for right now. I think the meta just suits them so well.
Fortunately for Yamzo from that current position, At least not in Cold's inventory. Didn't see him have those nitro splashes readily available, so that could be part of the reason why he came to a halt there. Maybe waiting for Acorn to catch up. But Bugha and Avivv are round 3 leaders. They were first. They had a commanding lead over round 3. And considering that it's a rather significant drop as well, MDF, I mean, you're looking from top 1,000 to top 50 to make it into round 4, and yet it's just been one struggle after the next for this duo here today. Part of it seemingly being that they have just really struggled with their mid-game. The rotates not necessarily coming as easily as they might have hoped for, and when they're playing so far north of the map, coming out of classy courts, we've seen them already try to get aggressive with Pilot and Flix, who are, again, as far north as you can be at Piney Lane, and it just continues to be this reoccurring theme of challenge the teams on the north side of the map, but they might be spending a little bit too much time with those challenges, and it could be a big part of the reason why they've had so many struggles with their mid-game entries.
I'm more surprised Bugha and Avivv haven't been able to close this fight a lot faster. Like, this
Dak is crazy.
This is the problem they're having right now, is they're fighting a team that, yeah, I mean, they're just fighting a team that arguably seems to be, you know, on their level, but Amy gets a little over confident there and jumps right into a 2v1 box, and then you have Paco looking into put his influence on the fight here. Bugha looking for what was left of Pilot. He had no idea. He was just sitting there in the water. Aviv's gonna be the first to spot him. This is how it should go, right? They need to end these battles so much faster so they can actually have time to set themselves up for a strong mid-game. Otherwise, it is not gonna go well. This is why they're sitting down at 32 points. I mean, they're not completely out of the competition by any means, but there's some adjusting that needs to be made if they want to make it into a big final setting and perform well.
That might be their fastest time to elimination yet, though, up against the likes of Flix and Pilot, and that alone could be a massive switch up in terms of how their mid-game actually ends up developing for the course of lobby number 3. But again, we've got the replays. Just really break it all down. Avivv and Bugha charged through with the nitro splash into an immediate pump shot and basically left Pilot as a sitting duck there in the water. Nowhere really left to run after having lost his duo. And Lavish Lair story continues to develop as well here for Batman, Bugha, and Rapid. They're looking to just try and gather whatever material they can from this POI, but things have definitely been kind of tough for this team, considering their current resource count versus where you might have initially expected it to be at by now.
Not looking good for Crackley right now. Bugha makes him jump in. D-Roller on the low ground here. Needs to get up and support his teammate now. They'll end up regretting it, but Mixon ends up backing off, and D-Roller dashes past him too, so very interesting situation unfolding here as they both tried to disengage, and it all makes sense now. It's because Acorn and Cold have rolled up onto the scene here very dangerously, and everyone runs in fear now. But if they stay here, give it a couple moments, Cold will come barreling through the builds, promise you. And this is the same thing we saw from Acorn. Very, very sneaky side angles. This is the setup.
So fixated on Cold, who is still hanging out by that flaming boost hoop, but Acorn didn't get the leverage he was hoping for with that side crouch approach. Does have a couple of Nuka-Colas, but Slurp Cactus gonna replenish him instead. That is until he gets dinged from afar.
Headshot? What was that, a body tag from DMR?
That's a big Hunter's DMR tag right there, and I thought it was gonna be trouble for Mixon and Bugha initially, because they were originally looking like the team that was going to get caught in the middle between two others. Instead, Cold and Acorn, and they might want to be the ones with more of a heads-up overview, considering that Acorn eating that big shot, and it doesn't look like he wants to stick around for any more. Good trades, though, from Cold. Does lose his shield, but when you have 3 shield potions, not going to really be that much of a problem. Nitro barrel as well. as another slurp cactus to just continue replenishing some of what has been lost here out of Cold's HP and shield bar.
Yeah, really nice so far. Might have to actually sit on this cactus for some time here. At least play the desert biome. Continue to get some more shields. There it is. All too expected, but Golden Acorn now, it's spread out as they start to regroup here.
Ooh. Saw that lion icon on the map over at the Nitro Drone, which means that Ringmaster Scar's medallion has yet to be claimed. Almost anticipating some more action to pick up over near that POI. Teams possibly looking to scurry in to see if they could potentially third party whatever duo manages to actually try and confirm that medallion early on, because infinite ammo, even without the boom bolt, still a massive impact on a lobby.
Infinite is still infinite, all right? Like, that's just it. Especially if you're, decide to switch up your loadout a little bit, possibly even go with the SMG, right? It just gives you options that you wouldn't otherwise have.
Or if you're able to get your hands on the team that has the Machinist combat AR, that Mythic could go crazy with the infinite ammo. Right now, Convict looking to go sicko mode himself. And it's a nice cleanup crew after the fact. Vanillas and Convict, each with one elimination apiece. Probably feeling pretty good about that now. That was a nice little refresh for them as far as the material count is concerned.
Yeah, definitely a strong elim right there on Tapaco. It's gonna put them at 2 right now. Got a ways to rotate now, though. See the standings updating for a second there. Top 20 team dropped out, pushes Vanilla up to 13th. Meanwhile, Snacky and Magia, last game, unfortunately, got eliminated a lot earlier when they came in the top 3 position, then fall to the hands of Acorn and Cold. And a very, very deadly exchange. And a big setback for Snacky and Magia. Not looking good right now for Pink and Miro. Seems like aggression starting to set in here. Pushing Miro pretty low, but I guess it was worth it. They get to pick up the material here from the team that they eliminated. Now, if I had to guess, it's probably a pretty drawn-out fight. You can see that even with the Pink pickup, Pink barely has extra material to work with here, so has cost them a lot and probably not exactly what they were looking for. So they will have to keep fighting here. Into the zone they go. All right. So they're going to go clean up what's left of these 2 solos in a fight here. Oh, Pink! No scopes. The DMR hipfire onto Rain there. Finishes him off and breaking through the builds now. Miro trying to put up, and there it is. Okay. Still, though, barely any mats, but a lot of points earned there in those exchanges.
An engagement ended almost as quickly as it started. Same can't be said here on Rift Island, though. Okis with the Nitro Splash, looking for an escape. He's got 20 seconds to work with of that infinite stamina. He's just gonna holster up currently on the side of Rift Island, though. See if he can regenerate a little bit of shield off this Flowberry Fizz. Has to hope that he doesn't get spotted out. Bucky still knocked, hasn't been fully eliminated just yet. Could be Okis hoping to wrap back around, maybe come up big. He's able to find an elimination, because for the time being, it seems as though Muzz, Trashy, he might be a little bit distracted here. And Okis, if he gets close enough, saving Bucky might actually come true here. I'll have to check back in, though, with Rift Island, because again, the action is taking place everywhere on the map currently. It's Cold and Acorn. They've found an elimination. We'll get a chance to see exactly how it went down. It's a classic burst through the box, straight into the hammer pump. And that's the kind of, again, mechanical fragging prowess that we know Cold is always capable of.
Yep, and when you give him the ability to break right through your build, it makes it that much more easier for him. Off in a distance, not looking good for Dukes. There it is, Mixon helping with a knock there, and then the finish onto Sphinx. Mixon rewarded with the eliminations credit there.
Looks as though Feno and Clicks could be lurking, but No. Mixin.
Cold and Acorn.
Mlaka, yeah, this is who they're gonna have to worry about. Vlaha already taken note. He's just trying to reconvene with his duo there. His Cold Acorn. They've got a slight overhead view, but it seems as though they'd rather just keep things moving. We've been so accustomed to seeing this team with at least 3-4 eliminations by now. The fact that they've only managed to secure one, definitely indicative of the fact that they have had their own form of early encounters. And you know, from afar, that's where the third-party interference comes into play. That 4-time scope coming up big.
Yeah, I was looking at Mixon's like elimination count. I was like, well, I know you got the down finish, but they only have one elim. Who took the elim? It's Vino looking out the scope on that DMR. So much damage. Even now, though, Acorn and Cold from one rotate into arguably the best team in the lobby right now. Iamzo, Tayson, but look at how they play it out. When he's got that Nitro Splash and he can break in, he is just so deadly with it, but two can play that game. Tayson claps back now. And you are looking at a very high-level engagement here where no one wants to sit still. Acorn has to come into the rescue to try to support one another, and it's second and third going head-to-head right now. Doing all the dirty work for Clix and Vino if they end up taking out one another.
Yeah, but Cold maybe getting a little taste of his own medicine in that circumstance. This is no fold-over duo by any means. Tayson and Iamzo, they're more than happy to sit tight for the time being, possibly even spotting out the fact that a team from Rift Island could potentially be looking to apply some shots if they're not careful. That's why you can see these boxes coned on for the time being. Acorn and Cold just trying to figure out, do we want to make this approach or do we want to just keep our rotation going strong? And Nitro Splash comes out. Those two are gone. Iamzo trying to pay them a little goodbye visit with the Hunter's DMR, but won't find any success with it just yet. The other thing it's kind of important to note, though, is that we see players all the time with these like Hunter's DMRs. They'll have like the 4-time scope. I did find it interesting that Veno was actually utilizing that Enforcer assault rifle with the 4-time scope. Have to think that it could possibly just be he didn't manage to actually find a DMR to put that optimal scope on, but could also just be, you know, a Veno classic where he makes do with what he's got.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hybrid decision, right? You can always at least follow up the rapid fire behind the shotgun, but let's watch Muzz and Trashy here try to make a play right now off the Rift Island. They have the launch pad to work with. Fizz is going to come out. They're going to opt to take them both for the road here. And up and a ways to the new zone they go. They see teams lurking above as well. Muzz, what are you thinking, buddy? You just didn't get what you wanted? All right, there it is. Do it again. There's the effects.
Higher.
Higher.
Trying to go further. Ooh. End of the road there, though, for Batman, Bugha, and Rapid. Cleanly picked off here, but Snacky and Magia, they're not out of the thick of it just yet. Relatively low. Not the greatest resources as far as what they have to offer in terms of their shield replenish status, but again, beggars can't be choosers, and from this position, Snacky, he knows he's just gonna have to utilize that one Nuka-Cola that he had to offer and hope that the several other teams in their direct vicinity aren't gonna choose to jump into their box just yet. And that's the other problem too, though, MDF. You never know when a duo is just gonna come tearing through your wall off the Nitro Splash, especially a team like Acorn and Cold. I mean, these guys have just been on a rampage, just about.
They played this super smart, though. This rotate, well-timed, and straight through the underworld. Couldn't have worked out better for them now, and they're marking the map here. Not content with being down in this ravine here. Very exposed position to be in. Here's Avivv and Bugha on the other side. Much longer rotate to make right now. Their Flowberry fizzes out. There goes the Nitro Splash, and they're gone. Very little, yeah, sight lines on them. You can see everyone's down low. A little dangerous crevice down there. Bad spots to situate in.
but this might be one of the best lead-ups that we have seen so far for an endgame as far as Bugha and Avivv are concerned. I mean, they have not had a whole lot of success with the first 2 lobbies today. So at the halfway point, match number 3 of 6, they are looking to make their mark here. Yamzo and Tayson catching the attention of the rest of the lobby on this rotate. And Yamzo, he's not going to be able to press forward any longer. Some big drops there for the team that just picked them off. And Tayson won't even get an opportunity yet to go and try and claim his teammates' loot. Instead, it's going to be Curve with all of the benefits alongside of Tyler. Those Nuka-Colas, the mats. That is a massive refresh there for Curve and Tyler. Meanwhile, it's left Tayson in a little bit of shambles.
Yeah, you can see it was just a combination of things, right? So many teams seeing these fresh builds fly up, and they were too desperate to try to find good positioning, and now it just all starts to crumble backwards here. Not looking good for Tayson. He gets collapsed on by the remaining duo, Tyler and Curve, picking up Tayson. And that's going to be the first we see of a top 3 team fall in this lobby here, giving Vino and Clix all the more runway to keep expanding this lead here. This is just a qualifier, but it is also, you know, it could be argued that we're seeing an early sample size of who understands how to play this meta.
Yeah, it's not like any of these players are not taking this seriously, because again, you want strong series points. Granted, making it to a weekly finals is bound to put you in a really strong position for the upper bracket, as is for semis, but at the same time, developing that synergy, continuing to build on your chemistry, that's really what we're witnessing currently from a newly formed duo like Clix and Veno. Convict Vanilla is with another one. Noxy just never had a chance to see it coming. And now, Convict, a little bit of momentum here in his stride. Scott Vanilla's right next to him. They're just breaking down walls the old-fashioned way, just shooting through them. And massive benefits here as well. The Machinist, Medallion, up for grabs currently. Convict hasn't had a chance to nab it up just yet. Instead, too much pressure being applied by Magia and Snacky on the other end of the wall. They're going to actually opt to fall back.
Yeah, they were getting nitro boosted at. Somehow managed to hold the walls just long enough to keep them blocked out there. Could have been all bad. Meanwhile, Bugha and Avivv absolutely accepting the chaos down low, giving them the free reign to build this high ground position here. They're at 7 eliminations. Okay, so talk about making up for lost points in the previous games here. Really picking up a big step towards the right direction here. Snack and Mazia doing the same as well. 2 elims now. Things are starting to add up here from a game 2 dropout. It wasn't just a fluke so far. Snacky and Magia somehow, some way are setting themselves up to be in the conversation as a strong NA duo. And this is a new pairing. I'm very impressed with this team. Of all the teams we've seen so far, the new NA teams popping up with one another, this is one that is definitely outperforming by my expectations by a long shot. And they seem to only be getting better. Let's see Acorn and Cold right now on the move. The outskirts as well, playing these very wonderful rotates. We're always going to see Acorn and Cold trying to set up at the very spear point of the moving zone here. And look at this. The tides have changed. Clix is now the healthy one here, trying to keep Vino alive.
But look at Vanilla's trying to chop out Hyde instead. Gets chopped themselves. Bugha and Avivv continue to hold their own here on the high ground. An excellent defense of their current territory, because they know the high ground is going to be their best shot at trying to confirm a victory royale in this one. Snacky, Magia though, continuing to make the magic happen here. They're utilizing some of the natural map defenses. Grim Gate providing them some coverage from the team on height, but they still have to worry about all the players. Nitro splashing in from behind. Cold Acorn clearing out Bryce from his box. 6 eliminations now as well for this duo, but they could do with the material refresh for sure.
Almost top 10 now. And this is on the Grim Gate, right? So they could jump down and pick up the Underworld dashes at any time. So this game can truly go either way right now. No one is safe, even if you're Bugha and Avivv up on high ground right here. But talking about not being safe, Vino gets the wall broken into, and a team dashes right in with a full drop kick. It's Trashy from behind, getting the finish there. And now Clix has to play medkit here as he walks his way to the storm here. There it is, finally finds himself a moment into the safe zone. Just 8 builds, though. They were already pretty desperate and then finished off before the top 10. Still a great performance. Someone had to stop Vino and Clix, and it just so happens to be done here and now. And this is Snacky and Mazia's time to actually close that gap, but the Elims, they're so far behind. You weigh them up against some of the others, and that is what they need. They need more big shots like that. Miro's still here. Can't count him out at all. Putting up numbers for him in pink. Looking good as he works his way up off that ultimate low ground now.
Miro's just looking for a moment of relief. All he wants is to get off these small shield potions, replenish as much shield as possible. But the zone continues to close in. Avivv and Bugha, one of our only duos remaining, and they are looking to stake their claim here for this Victory Royale. Avivv with that confirmation of elimination. Bugha, Avivv, it's only a matter of time now. They've got the 1 versus 2 scenario, and just like that, Avivv and Bugha from the depths have finally found what they were looking for so far today in a Victory Royale here in match number 3.
And they really needed that. Their early drop spot being contested up against Pilot and his duo, we saw how that was giving them some troubles, but after they overcame those problems, you like to see this win fall into place for them. And it wasn't even a flashy victory by any means. It was just key positioning and holding this key positioning all the way throughout the game there and getting the refreshes along the way. So if even Bugha honestly do this in textbook fashion, and look at how much action is happening in the low ground. The fights are truly forced. Congratulations to the Victory Royale for Avivv and Bugha there for game number 3, Taco. And they do that. They close it out. And finally, someone puts Vino and Clix to rest for a second there.
Yeah, what really seemed to seal the deal there for Avivv and Bugha, though, was that initial defense up against the likes of Vanillas and Config. They tried to play for the high ground, but were immediately chopped and put down to the ground. So, excellent job by some of NA's finest, of course. But we've got lobby number 3 soon to, or not, lobby number 4 soon to come. But for right now, we're going to head to a quick commercial break.